approach VCs? Did you approach New York VCs, California VCs, anyone that would talk to you, and how long did it take the whole process to raise the money?
It took 3-4 months probably. I was lucky there a bit because New York City was a client. It took 3 or 4 months. We didn't have to pitch to many. We found a lead VC. Once we found a lead VC, the other investors sort of followed and then fell into place.
How did you find the VCs? Like you started the company, like you had a network. Did you reach out to other people that you knew that knew VCs? Like, how did you actually find?
It was
a lot of people, a lot of startup founders have trouble raising money and figuring out how to do it. That's what I'm interested.
Yeah. So it was through the network. So by the time we were trying to raise VC, we had also a few other angel investors who had put in more money because they saw the traction, they liked what we were trying to do, and some of them introduced me to a few VC firms. And I talked to a few, and one of them agreed to lead. And then usually when you are raising funds, once you find one first lead who is willing to put a big chunk of cash, then everybody sort of follows, because then suddenly everybody thinks they're missing out if they don't put it.
And that they're smart and they know something. They don't want to miss out, so they all get it.
Exactly.
Interesting. So it's like psychological.
It is very. I think raising money, there's a lot of psychological factors. Like you don't get anybody to. You don't manage to convince anybody. Everybody sort of, oh, we'll see, and then one agrees, and then suddenly everybody agrees. Right?
So you raise the money, now you start have to hire, and you raised the initial round, and you had a second round of angel. Now you had your first round
of VC
money. Along the way, are you hiring people, or are you still like frugal? Like how are you structuring the company to keep going?
We're still very frugal, but we hired some senior positions, and there were a whole bunch of mistakes I made.
Love to hear some of the mistakes.
So the biggest mistake was I came from engineering academic background, right? We just happened to be lucky to get New York City as a client, and we actually went live right on the last day of Bloomberg administration. So there was a lot of other macro factors that had sort of played into us getting to the door and making the system live. But at that time, I didn't realize any of that. I just thought, oh, sales is not hard. New York City, everybody says government is the hardest thing to close. We managed to close the thing, and even go live. So after raising the money, what we should have done was we should have hired experienced salespeople, which I did not. I thought, I already did it. I could just wing it, right? So, but then we completely failed. Because enterprise sales
is very hard.
Right? Carol, she's at Fusemachines, does enterprise sales. So it's extremely hard. But when you're a founder or CEO, you don't know what you don't know, right? So, and sometimes people tell you, but still sometimes you think, well, I already did it, so it should be okay. So I kept on going months after months and after months trying to close larger deals. We got very close to closing a couple of large deals too, but never really managed to do it. But with more team hired, months passing by, money started running out. And we hadn't really had another big New York City government kind of client. So then things started becoming really shaky.
How'd you deal with that, you personally?
Personally, it was very tough. We have gone multiple cycles when, there was, if I did not figure out the money situation by end of the month, we would not have money to pay the employees. You probably hear these stories by a lot of founders saying it. It is true. It happens. Unless you're one of the lucky ones who raises every 6 months because you live in $100, right? But a lot of startups don't. And so we went through this very hard period of where money was running out. none of the large enterprise clients were buying the product we were selling. Then one of the employees left. It's like, well, I thought this was going to be $100 million business in 12 months, and it hasn't gone anywhere. So hell with my stock options, I'm going to leave. Right? So the other employee left, and it was hard. It was basically chugging along, and we just kept chugging along, trying to figure out what to do, and then we made a pivot at that time, saying, okay, as a very small startup with not a lot of funding, tackling large enterprises is very hard.
Yeah.
Because one of the deals that were almost closed, which was one of the large banks, they had 2,000 customer service agents. It was a large bank out of Scotland. And it was pretty much a done deal, but then they came back and said, well, if things go wrong, we're going to go live with 2,000 people in Scotland. If things go wrong, what am I going to do? I'm going to call you on your cell phone? We can't do this. So
you're too small.
we're too small, right? Like
Yeah.
for large enterprise accounts, even if they like it. And we actually, at that time, our AI for customer service product, we competed with some of the large systems from Cisco and so forth, and Oracle actually. And we did pretty well, so they liked it, but it was just the reality of the business. I mean, for them, it was just too much of a risk to buy this product from this very small startup and deploy it across 2,000 people. So they said no. And then,
Okay, so now, let's talk about, you mentioned an employee left with stock option. So you obviously had some employees with stock option. Were they vested over a few years? Like, how did you structure some of that?
so within Fusemachines, every employee gets a stock option. It's vested over 4 years, and it's a first year vesting, and then after that it's monthly. The reason I decided to do monthly is because a lot of companies do 1 year cliffs, right? So it vests end of the year 1, end of year 2, and I think sometimes people have to leave for whatever the reason in 1 year and 10 months, and then they lose out 10 months of work they did, which is not fair to the employee.
That's true.
So basically what we have structured is, in the company, after the first year, it does not matter when you leave. If you want to leave, then you should leave. But you should not stay just because you're waiting for the stock option to vest over 1 year.
Because that's contagious. It's like toxic. Like they might not be, they're kind of like already checked out, and they could drag a project and
Exactly.
stuff like that.
So we do monthly vesting. Yeah.
So how do you manage your day-to-day responsibilities and your team, right? You're running this big business, you're in all these countries, you have all these teams. How do you process all that and manage your responsibility for the company?
So we've gotten more organized now. So we do the OKRs. So we in the beginning of the quarter, we come up with 5 company milestones. All the senior team, we sit down and say, okay, these are the 5 company level milestones. Please go out and find the department level milestones for each of these company level milestones. They go and find those 5 department level milestones, and then they break it apart into 6 different pieces.
For each one?
For each one for the whole quarter.
So it's like 30 pieces from 5 items?
Yes. Yes.
So, okay.
30 pieces, 5 pieces, 6 pieces for each department. So sales has basically 6 sub-milestones, which we do which we check every 2 weeks. So that's sort of how we have organized at this point on making sure overall operations is running on the process, the KPIs are being met, everybody knows what they're doing and what they're supposed to do. Especially as the company gets large, what I've realized is it's easy to lose the information on what exact responsibility one should be doing, and get mixed up in this notion of, oh, let's keep on hiring, and then, oh, we need 3 people in here, 2 people in here, and then you hire, and then there's not a really good responsibility map laid out for them. And then they come in, they don't know what to do for a while, and then that just does not create a good environment for them.
And then it creates issues with employees because they're like, what are they doing? I'm doing all this.
Yes. Yeah. So to summarize, basically, we've created a structure of milestones and check-ins and we track a lot of this in Asana from a tool perspective.
Use Asana, is that, okay. We use Basecamp for our,
Similar.
yeah. All right, so is there any thoughts or philosophies or pieces of information you want to leave the audience with?
Sure. Sales is hard. It's very hard. Especially enterprise sales is even harder. And one thing I say this, and I've said this many times, it's a sentence I repeat to myself. Just because you build it doesn't mean people will use it. And just because they use it doesn't mean they will pay for it. Right? And until you have somebody pay for something in your business, it's not sustainable.
You just made a lot of people sad when you said that. So explain that. So now, how do I go about starting a business? Like, what's your thought behind it? So you're saying if you build it, they might not use it, and if they use it, they might not pay for it. So what's the thought behind that?
So I say that particularly a lot for engineers, because having engineering background, I've seen a lot of my students at Columbia as well. Oh, we know how to build it, let's just build it. We put it on the web, and yeah, obviously it's going to go viral, and we're going to have a million users, right? But that's not the case. So that's the emphasis on just don't jump into building the product. First, think very hard on the pain points that you're trying to solve and how valuable it is for the end user to solve that pain point. And does that pain point solution is so valuable that they're going to pay for it, be it $1, be it $40, or be it thousands of dollars. And that there needs to be, I think, if you're trying to start a business, doing that research in the beginning and not getting too drawn into the product, this magic product you have in mind that just came into your head. You should really take a step back and then do a lot of research, talk to a lot of potential end customers, and then figure out the pain point you're solving. Is it actually the pain point? Or are there better pain points similar to that could be solved? And even if you solve it, is it strong enough that people will pay for it?
Awesome. So, is there anything else, any books or podcasts or resources that you would share with the audience?
The GigaOwn podcast, I like it very much.
What's the name?
The GigaOwn podcast. There's humanitarian.ai podcast. There's quite a few podcasts out there. Those are good. On the book side, I really like the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek. It's an excellent book. Yeah. I think it changes how you communicate with others, especially as you run the company. It's easy to say do this, do this, do this. But if you can inspire the people by giving them the reason behind why you are asking to do it, it makes a tremendous difference in productivity. So the book Start With Why, it's a really good book.
All right. Let's open it up for Q&A if anyone has a question. Before I take any questions, they have to be one question, not 3-part questions. Go ahead, you first, ready?
I assure you it will be one quick.
Okay.
Samir, as you found your company, running your company, if there's one synthesized as one biggest lesson you learned, looking back, if you have corrected it or you knew it, that would save you a lot of time and hassle, what would that be?
Understanding, that's a hard question. There's so many things that goes wrong, and but if you were to think from one of the biggest components that you need to realize on your own is understanding the missing skill set in you, and then going out and finding help for that missing skill set. Right? So that, because nobody's good in everything, and just like everybody, there's really good salespeople, there are really good marketing people. They're really good because they have executed that trade and made it as their craft for life, so they're just so good at it. So knowing what are your missing qualities and then going out and not being afraid to ask for that help makes a big difference on the growth of the company.
Question in the back?
Yeah. Speaking about a skill set, who were your first employees in terms of hires, and why did you decide to hire those 5 employees first?
The first set of employees were engineers, and the first full set was all engineers. And like I said, now I wouldn't do that. I would hire.
Well, you didn't need sales, that's why. You thought you didn't need sales.
Exactly. But I think in the beginning you want the mix of sales, marketing, and engineering to sort of come together right in the beginning, so that all cylinders are kicking in.
Any other question? Oh, right here? Yeah.
Quick question. What is the difference do you see between AI and ML? Everybody talks about both of them.
Sure. So ML is the foundation. So AI has evolved a lot. So before it used to be expert-based systems, rule-based systems, and so forth, where even machine translation system, you would make rules saying I means ma and so forth, and you just use rules to do the translation, and it was still an AI system, right? An expert-based, rule-based system. But now, all the AI systems are based on statistical models. You take a lot of data of English and French, and then build statistical models of what's the likelihood of the parameter of this word translated to that other word. Now that machinery to build such statistical models is machine learning. So these days, pretty much all of AI systems is based on the foundations of machine learning algorithms, which are all math. And in fact, deep learning, that a lot of you have heard, is just one type of machine learning algorithm. So it's the AI, the subset is machine learning, and the subset is deep learning.
You have a question?
Yeah, so from what you described with avoiding the term AI when you first started out, it sounded like you had to pretend to be less revolutionary, less cutting edge than you really were. In this day of tech unicorns, is that still the case, or do you want to present yourself as being as forward-thinking as possible?
You want to be able to say at least something that's forward-thinking so that people do get excited. Right? So, and there are a few things that we are building which is potentially revolutionary, but the business model is not based on that right now. So when I go and talk to a company about the company, we have an education platform. I don't start by saying we have the most advanced personalized AI tutoring system that does AI, that teaches AI. Right? But you still need a little bit of that flavor, from what I've seen, to at least excite some of the people in the community, be it the investors or be it even people who are looking for jobs, so that they can look forward to, okay, I want to be part of it.
In terms of like the types of skills you're seeing companies seek in someone who would be like from an AI team, right? Let's say like I have a certain company, whether I'm a startup or like a medium-sized company or an enterprise company, and I'm looking for AI talent to build out certain types of solutions. Do you feel like companies are gearing towards certain types of skills, whether it be like deep learning or specializing in how to build RNs versus like other types of deep learning model versus traditional AI? You know what I mean? Like, how do you think about like where the industry is moving in terms of like those types of AI specific skill sets?
So it's moving more and more toward deep learning solutions. So since the deep learning came about, it has started to beat pretty much all of the machine learning algorithms, given the amount of data and compute power, and that's why it's become more popular. Previously, if you went to like machine learning conferences, one panel would be about deep learning or about deep learning applications. Now, all panels is about deep learning. So, it's sort of getting towards that point where a lot of even students are just not even trying to make an effort to understand a lot of traditional ML algorithms, but just diving right into deep learning.
One question?
Yeah, a question from my part. You mentioned the fact that before diving into the product you have in your head, you should really think about what the potential customers and clients need and how you can tailor the product to those needs. In terms of tailoring the product, I mean, industry changes, clients need changes, and so how flexible is your value proposition towards these changes in terms of tailoring and in terms of offering this as a service rather than as a product?
So, is the question that
I think, you're saying instead of you being like more of like a consultant to help other businesses figure out product market fit, right? I think that's what he's asking.
so like instead of providing services where we are not selling just a product, or
So not just the product, but the product in a good way to have it configurable in such a way that that you can tailor it to future needs.
yeah. So I mean, so product is always evolving, right? So, and your customer base is also evolving, right? So, like I said, it's very hard to win very large deals with enterprise at the beginning. So you have not really thought about all the features enterprises need, from data security, all that stuff. And as you get more and more bigger and bigger clients, you're starting to evolve your product and adding more bells and whistles and adding more data security and network security features and so forth. So it is always evolving process. For us, our product is both the platform and the service.
Okay.
Right. So we do provide service to a lot of companies who are looking to build AI products, and we help them build a team from the graduates that go through our program. It's usually 2 to 4 engineers with some PhD time and so forth, and they sit with the client and then help them build the product.
One more question, right here.
I want to ask, like, how do you see the future of the artificial intelligence with this new privacy law? So basically, if I want to do an artificial intelligence company, how can I build my training set?
So with privacy law, how it would affect, right? That's the question.
Yeah.
So it will get harder. It will definitely get harder. Already with GDPR laws, it's made it harder for some companies on being able to use the data, because machine learning system is a lot about data, and especially the deep learning systems consume a lot of data to be good at it. And having very person-specific data is important to be able to person-specific automation. And especially if you start thinking about reinforcement learning-based systems, it changes based on personal interactions. So with more and more privacy laws, especially privacy laws that does not allow machine to access your personal data, it will make it harder for machines and the companies to do very personalized predictions. And probably for good for many companies.
Do you think that maybe random forest would be a possible